Okay, it's going.
Okay. Hello there, I am Herlaka Rose, and I'm having to sit down here with Loki Jesse, who is with his podcast, which is called Troglodyte.
Yeah, you said it right. Troglodyte.
Troglodyte, yes.
Yes.
I can never pronounce it right, but you have your podcast going on, and he's interviewed me, and he's been doing this for over, how many years have you been doing this for now?
It's gonna be 5 years this March.
This March.
Yes,
Nice.
it's March, 5
Tell me a little bit more about how this came about, what made you start doing this, as far as your podcast, something you always wanted to do,
Well,
and the name.
okay. So I started hearing podcasts, just random wrestling podcasts. I started off with wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan, and on YouTube over here you see those snippets of some of my favorite wrestlers here and there, and then I started looking for their podcasts. So once I started hearing those, then I started branching out to movies and TV shows, especially the horror films, because I'm a big horror fan. So I kept on hearing those shows, and then I found Morgan Lander, I think that's what you say, from Kitty.
It's from Kitty, I was going to say that too.
Her and her friends, Yasmin and Megan, they started their own podcast called Witchfinger, where they do horror films, but they're drinking. They're to be more entertaining, so they're drinking and doing their shows. And then from them, I found these other guys from California called Forever Midnight, and they're do the same thing. They're talking about films and stuff. They're being silly, giving a commentary. And then from there, you just start branching out to other shows like Cult Film in Review, and then I stumbled upon this one podcast called Best Films Never Made, where they're talking about films that never made it past the writing process. And hearing all this just got me more intrigued in films and stuff, and from there I started looking at more YouTube videos about behind the scenes, not just horror, but action films, comedy, and like every little snippet, man, I just started absorbing so much. And then from there, I'm just like, I probably should start a podcast of my own. So I started doing my research and due diligence about everything, like the equipment, microphones, what type of podcast, where to host it, and all these things. And I would write down these notes. When I got my income tax from 2019, I bought like a small recorder.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like you started off, because I remember when you first started off, I was with you when I did like 2 shows with you and so forth. Sit a little bit closer just to make sure that you're in the view.
Hit something like that.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I have somewhere down here. This is live, folks.
I know. We're going to go to commercial break while he's doing this. So, avoid by sponsors.
Yeah. So this was the small recorder that we used. I put a tape on it.
Let's have a gander here. Let's see what we got going on down.
Remember this one? This was like the small one that
old
I used.
school. Yeah, old school.
That's what we used when you recorded the early episodes with me. This was like the first recorder that we used, and I don't have it with me right now. The big one that I use now. But I upgraded. But these are the same mic stands that we use. The mics are different now. But I just started off with something small and simple until I was able to branch on my own. And oh man, I went through so many co-hosts until I found Tim. He used to work with me at Home Depot, so we used to work there. And I asked him to be on one of my shows, an episode. It was just gonna be like a one-off. I was just going like through different people, and now he's been part of the show for like the longest time, and we seem to have a good banter. We kind of mix it up now. We go from horror to anime to action, comedy, drama.
I was going to say that because you specialize in horror originally. Is that correct? I mean, because you're like that. I know of you. You are like an encyclopedia of all horror, like. When it comes to horror and stuff, but now you're switching it up because you're actually even like pretty much like producing another show which is called here, which is called El Que
El Que Lade.
Yeah, so you're like producing this as well, is that correct?
Yes, I'm mixing and producing and editing the show. I record with the owner Eduardo Medina and Poncho Torres. I'm recording the radio show on the Blitz every Sunday night from 10 to 11. We record here this location at On the Rocks Tavern.
Yes, this is our sponsorship here, which is the office. I call it the office. It's next door to On the Rocks here, and so forth. On Lincoln Street, it's 1110 Lincoln Street. Yeah, and
I
we have the
usually
Blitz as well.
refer to this as the studio. Like I know Eddie and Poncho and even Tim they refer to as the bar because it's part of the bar.
Exactly.
But I like to refer to this as a studio, like the same way you refer to this as the office.
I call it the office. Like it's always been the office with our pop-up shops and stuff that they've always sponsored and stuff.
Yes, I just learned as much as I could. Like I used like the Audacity. It's so simple and easy, but hopefully I could upgrade to Adobe Adobe Audition. That's like the next step. Or there's other programs that I could use to edit. But I just learned how to. It just
trial and error,
just like nothing fancy, nothing just like simple. Remove the background noise, take out some stuff, or replace it with like in any slurs or slang, just like replace it with a little puppy dog noise or cats. And in the music, like the intro music, I kind of made that myself. I just like put like a lot of. I just went to like free music samples and I just like made the intro music myself, and then just last year in July, that's when I started putting like little sound clips of the movies in there.
Nice.
And it just been going from there. Like I just love doing the show. I mean, like it's something that keeps me focused and stable sometimes. It's just that, and I mentioned this when I interviewed local director Jason Littman, that it's hard. Recording is fun, editing is fun, but in the middle, I feel I procrastinate a lot and I'm lazy, so I have to try to bridge that gap where I don't get into that position of being lazy and procrastinating.
Yeah, because I mean, like it's time consuming. You having to go through after you have the recording and all of that jazz, and then you have to go and delete and you're editing. Just the editing process alone that you have to actually deal with stuff. Do you get like a good night's sleep afterwards, where it's so time consuming that you're just like and you collapse?
It was like,
or is it frustrating when you can't sleep at night because of everything?
No, I have trouble sleeping at night for other reasons. I'm stressed out over bills and stuff. But I usually, like, when I get done recording, I'll automatically like go put the files on my laptop, and I'll just save them there. And then this is what I was telling Jason the other day. I would set up the projects, like have the computer file and set up the projects on Audacity, and then I would just like get tired and not do anything. But at the time of this recording, because we're on a Monday, so last Friday, I basically I was off Friday, so I just basically all day, from 4 o'clock all the way to the evening, I just worked on one show, and then I prepared the next episode for the following day that I was going to work on, which was my show. And then when I got done with my show on Saturday, then I prepared the next show, which was going to be the morning show for Friday. So I kind of like crunched the time for maybe I did need a good night's sleep, but sometimes I just need to put the files on the laptop and set up the program, so that way at least that's done. So I don't have to like waste time putting them in there. Like they're already in there, and then I just have to work on them. And working on them sometimes isn't that hard. Like if I know there's no foul language or anything, I sit down and listen throughout the whole thing. I listen to the whole episode again. Not because I'm a narcissistic and I like to hear my voice, but I just like to make sure that everything's right, or maybe there's something that I don't know, or sometimes hearing it back, I laugh at the dumb things we say.
Dude, I know, and I've interviewed with you. I've been with you several times on your show and stuff, and I reminisce on that too. Like just the whole thing that what we say and stuff. It's like a little funny, and all of that jazz. But it's all in good fun. And stuff,
it is good fun, and it's just like very relaxing to me, and I just love branching out, and I'm trying to get. Well, no, like I have Jason, who was nice enough to sit down with me, and I'm trying to get this other director from San Antonio to sit down. Well, we're gonna communicate through Zoom, and I'm trying to get this other director from Houston to be on the show. Just like he's kind of like my what's the phrase, the golden egg or something. Like he's just like a local indie.
Like a mentor?
No, not a mentor. He's just like the dragon, chasing the dragon. I'll call him the dragon. I'll call him dragon. Oscar Rodriguez. He's directed. I'm amazed because like his first films that he's done were found footage, like Dead Ware and Last Radio Call and Mr. Creep, and I know I'm missing one, but he did these found footage films that were good. And for Last Radio Call, my friend Sarah won Best Actress 2 years ago at the Houston Horror Film Fest. But recently I see, Town Full of Ghosts, that's another found footage he did. That was good. But his latest film at the Astor Woods, it took me by surprise because it wasn't found footage. It was like a narrative film. Uh-huh. And it was like, wow, like this is good. And he did another film that was not in the horror related. It was more like family comedy called Tamala Season. Okay. They just released it. They just had its premiere in December. So I hope to have him on the pod one day because I have so many questions to ask him. But I'm just trying to branch out to people to get them on there and just like do what I like to do, talk film, and talk about inspiration.
You normally, you guys talk about, when it comes to you and your co-host, y'all talk about like movies, horror movies and stuff like that. Now you're producing another show, the El Que Ladre, and so forth. But like now you want to start interviewing other like people and putting them on your podcast, and so forth like that. Like so, it's gonna be, since you specialize in horror, you want to branch out to. I know you're a major Marvel fan, and that's how I connected with you back in the day years ago. And so hence the word I dubbed him Loki because of Marvel Universe and so forth. And I thought I knew everything about Marvel, not so much everything, but a lot old school because. Everybody, I guess nowadays, it's Marvel movies. I was reading Marvel comics since I was 10 years old through my brother and stuff. So my Marvel is through comics and stuff like that. And then you're an encyclopedia,
well,
you know?
I started with the comics too, and like I love the comics. And Loki is one of my favorite characters. But now it's just not for me now. Like what they put out there. It's not my Marvel, but you know what? It's somebody's Marvel, and that's good. It's like other people are enjoying these characters the way I enjoy them. But I just miss the days when Loki was the god of evil and mischief. And not an in-betweener.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I miss the days when Deadpool was just, with a small niche of people. Now it's like so overexposed.
Exactly. I know what you're saying and all of that stuff when it comes to that. What is your favorite since Marvel, when they started doing Marvel movies, what is your favorite Marvel movie that's come out?
Honestly, I want to say the first Thor. I love the first Thor because it was the first interpretation of Loki, and it's just and it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who's like a Shakespeare actor, and he really put the Shakespeare in that film. Mm-hmm. We have Sir Anthony Hopkins and Chris Hemsworth, who I don't know if he's done any Shakespeare, but I know Hammerstein, has done Shakespeare. Because when he was first cast as Loki, I just looked them up on YouTube, finding whatever I can of this new person that's going to portray Loki, and I found this one clip where he's talking about actors and compassion. And how actors, how you have to, when you play the role, you have to understand, not only understand the role, but you have to have compassion to the character you're playing, whether they're good or evil.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You have to like know, and he mentions Iago from Othello, and I'm just like, oh, whoa, that's, and I thought Iago was just like the pirate from Aladdin, but no, it's it's an actual villain from Shakespeare, and fast forward, when I saw Freddie Krueger himself, Robert Englund, in a Q&A in San Antonio, I think in 2018 or 2017. But he was in a Q&A and somebody asked him who's his favorite horror villain, and he didn't really say. He doesn't really have much of a horror villain. He has a favorite villain, and he said Iago.
Nice,
and he said that he always wanted to portray Iago.
Nice.
And on a play, but like that's the one thing that's the one role he wishes he could play. So,
nice. And besides comics, like what other what hobbies do you have? Like I know you're a major comic fan, Marvel. That's where I connected with you and all of that jazz. And you're into horror and stuff. What else do you do? Like what is one of your pet peeves? Like do you have a pet peeve, and what is it?
Yeah, it's when people like stand too close to me in line.
Don't stand so close to me. Yeah. Don't stand so.
It gets annoying. It's just like, or if they try to make a joke, and I know I'm a funny guy, but like I know I could try to be a funny guy.
But a funny guy.
But like I just like read the room. Sometimes I just don't like. I don't know. Like that's people who try to make jokes when everything's so serious.
Yeah.
I know I'm kind of one of them too, but like I just don't like it. I don't like people that stand too close to me in line, or I don't know, or I just don't like random people to talk.
No, I totally hear you. A little story too. Right before, I guess before the pandemic, or right when the pandemic started to happen, like the whole don't stand so close to me.
Yeah.
Before they put the rule of 6 feet apart or whatever and stuff, I was at HEB and at the bank, right?
Yeah.
And this man was, but the pandemic was really rolling and stuff, so it was like, it wasn't mandatory to use masks and stuff. This man was so close to me, and I got like nervous. I was like, oh, dude, he was so close. I wanted to say, hey, are you gonna hug me or what? Because you're this close. Like, back the fuck up. Like, back up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're too close, and we're going through a crisis now, But he was that close, and I feel the same way too. Like, I don't like people, you know what I'm saying, that get too close to me or whatnot. Not that I'm antisocial. I'm not, because I'm always, downtown and socialite and all of that stuff. But you have to be able to have like certain boundaries and stuff, and stuff. Me personally,
like common sense. That's all it takes.
I would rather go back to the when we were secluded and we had to stay in our houses and you can't go out and there was like literally you would get a ticket. I would press that button in a heartbeat.
That's one
just
thing
because
that,
I enjoy my solitude.
That's one thing that like when I would ask friends like what's changed for you when the pandemic was happening, like what's changed, anything's changed, like, and they'll be like no, and I'm like, well, yeah, I understand. It's like I would when the pandemic happened, I just stayed at home. I was already staying at home. I didn't really go out much.
That's a question that I do have for you when it comes to the pandemic itself. Besides financially, how did the pandemic affect you emotionally? Because we were literally shut down in our own houses. Yeah. We were like shut down. I live alone. I've always been alone, but I could not go out. Nobody could go out. How did it affect you emotionally, besides financially, which everybody was affected by both ways?
It didn't really affect me emotionally at all. It was just normal to me. Like I had already stopped going out. Like I was the only reason I ever stepped out was because of a person, and I don't speak to that person no more. So I'm happy just to be home. So when the pandemic happened, I was just like, oh, okay, let's just be home and just like watch something on YouTube or read a book.
Yeah,
I used to read so many. Well, I still read books, but I didn't read that much last year or the year before, and this year I haven't read much. But I loved reading, and it just didn't affect me at all emotionally. Like I was pretty content, Like I live at home with my mother and sister and niece and my nephew at the time, and I was okay. I didn't ghosts are crazy.
What are one of your favorite, like your shows, like a binge watching show? Like, do you have like a guilty pleasure
originally
show wise and stuff?
Yeah, I have a few. I don't think we talked about this much, but like I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, both classic and new. I love The Office, and just
I never saw The Office. I never got into The Office.
And just recently, I started binging. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, I saw a couple of episodes of that, and yes, it was. I can say yes, totally dig it because it takes place in a bar, right?
Yeah, it takes place in a bar.
So I mean, you gotta love that.
But just those characters are so
you gotta love that.
narcissistic and self-centered, and the crazy stuff that they do or that they even get away with.
I saw a couple of episodes and stuff.
There's times in the episodes where they even stop and ask themselves like, how did we get here?
This?
Yeah, like we're doing this. Like how did we get here? Like they're just like so crazy, and then the fact that Danny DeVito is not part of the cast.
Oh,
he joined.
He's a gem.
He joined
he's
the season, and he joined season 2. But like
he's a gem.
He just like I just love the fact that
it wouldn't be without him. He's a gem. This man's a gem, dude. Let the blood flow through the fingers, and that's from Twins. Let the blood flow. I love him, dude.
And I like to basically, I just put the episodes on in the background, so I have something in the background while I'm working on my editing, because I just love to have it in the background. Okay. And then with the mute on, but with the captions on, so I just like. I'm right there working, but if I glance up, I'll just like glance up at the perfect moment and where I'll just read like something stupid that they're doing.
Yes. Doing what you do when it comes to like, Loki, like you do this whole like, I guess I want to say broadcasting. Would that make sense? Broadcasting, or would you see yourself? Well, you're a podcaster, and
yes.
So you interview. So in a way, would you see yourself as like a news broadcaster, or would you be able to like do that? Literally, where you're like,
yeah, I see myself doing that. Like I
on the spot.
Yeah,
there.
I could do
live.
Yeah,
exclusives.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
It's just like I'm just like getting so used to I've been doing this for close to 5 years now. I'm getting so comfortable with it that when it comes to the show, or when it comes to even working on the Ekerade. It's just like I like when the mic is on, when the red light's on, and the mic is live or the camera's on me, I get a little animated, and I think that's one thing you mentioned about being social. I think doing this show has made me a little bit more social than I was, because part of doing the show is you have to promote it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can only
I
can only boost
put yourself out there.
I can only boost the ads on Instagram and Facebook and all those other places for so much. I had to get out there in person and do it. So,
would you see yourself literally like having nowadays it's a little small, little microphone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, with your cell phone, everything's with cell phone and stuff. Like out in the crowd, out about and stuff like that. Would you be able to see yourself doing that?
I could see myself doing that if for the right crowd. If I read, I like to say that if I read the room right, I could just just bring out my cell phone and just start having a conversation with somebody. Of course, get the permission if I could put them on the show, or just even get like a little sound bit from them. But just to ask them if the conversation is good and needs to be recorded, I'll record it and I'll ask them to record it. But I could see myself doing that, or being live in the field, because I honestly when I start going back to conventions again, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just ask somebody for a quick 5-second interview.
Exactly.
If I'm in line waiting to meet some, let's just say
sexy lady.
Yeah, sexy lady. Like Danielle Harris or Scott Taylor Compton, or maybe Frankenhooker again. If there's a long line, I'll just be there, hey, let me interview and for this podcast.
Well, actually, you saying that you go to a bunch of conventions, right?
Yes.
It's when it comes to that horror. Have you let them know that you are a producer as far as or like a podcaster, and that you would love to interview them? Have you ever thought about doing that?
No, because when I go to the shows, I go
as a fan.
And
you're not trying to like.
Yeah, like I'll bring it up, if I'm with someone in line, but like I won't go to the
soliciting, like you're soliciting yourself. Is that what you would feel like you're soliciting yourself?
So yeah, but well, I know that when I met Alex Vincent, who played Andy in Child's Play, I know that before
he's a DJ, correct? Nowadays, where he was a DJ.
No.
Oh, I'm thinking about Pet Cemetery. If I'm correct.
Hugo,
no, or is it
Hugo? He used to be in the band, but I think now I forgot what he does.
Okay, I saw something.
But Alex Vincent, before I went to go meet him, I looked him up, and I saw that he has a degree in audio engineering. So when I met him, the first, instead of asking him questions that he's been heard before about Child's Play or Andy or things like that, I just asked him, like, what kind of programs do you recommend, or like, what do you recommend for equipment? He was taken aback, because
Yeah, because your typical fan will say like, oh, this and all of it. Yes, but for you to say that, that's actually good, because you mentioned Audacity. And Audacity, I used to use that back in the day. This was back in the day, no lie, when it was MySpace still, right? Before the ending of MySpace and going into Facebook, when I would record and download, or had to download, I would record my interviews with Charlie Manson on the phone. This was a house phone. And then I had like I had like an orphan recorder and stuff, and then I would have to like plug it into the computer. And a friend of mine told me about Audacity. It's a program, right?
Yes.
Where you can, and stuff, and that's how I would get to my Charlie Manson through the phone, interviews, or not interviews, just speaking with them, and then go through and then upload and stuff. Audacity's been around forever. Like, that's the first kind of like recording.
Yeah.
Right? Am I correct? Audacity's been around for a while.
I don't know how long it's been around, but like it's good for beginners, and especially if you're on a budget, since it's free.
Well, I may be wrong, whatever, but I remember Audacity back in the day when the Charlie Manson days with me and Charlie and stuff. So nowadays there's so many other different kinds of programs, and everything's evolving. Every 3 months you get a new, now you got AI or like whatever the hell. So.
But no, like I use Audacity to help me with my editing and stuff, and let's see if I could be referred to me Adobe Audition and to get a Mac.
The guy from Child's Play.
Child's Play, yes. And then just recently in October, I met Damien Leon, who directed Terrifier 1 and 2, and he's working on number 3. But I asked him about procrastinating and laziness, because that's kind of like what I go through.
We all do that.
And he gave me like his, he said this to give myself a personal deadline. That's what he does. He gives himself a deadline. Like, there's a deadline that people give him, but then he gives himself a deadline before that deadline, so he knows he has to like get it done. And that kind of really helped me, because that was very inspiring.
And then coming from him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, coming from his ass. Yeah.
Well, it did fire under me, because that the week that I met him, just prior to that, I had recorded the first episode of the radio of the Ekerale. I just recorded it. So, right there in San Antonio, I had my laptop, and after I spoke to him, I just like went to like the little lounge area in the Henry Cuellar Center in San Antonio, and I just started working on the program. That's how much his words meant to me. That I sat down and started getting to work, and the next day when I went to go take the photo op, like, he remembered me.
That's
I don't
nice.
know. I don't know if it's because of the long hair or something, but he remembered me, so that was cool. But I really took those words to heart. And I understand that people give this advice a lot to their friends and families and stuff, but just something. Maybe it's just me, but just something about hearing it from someone that I kind of admire, and that I like.
Inspires you.
It had more weight to it. I'm sorry to say. I mean, I know when I brought this up to one of my friends, they're like, "That's what you're supposed to do all the time." And I'm like,
that's your job. Do your fucking job.
Yes, but it's just like, it's just like hearing it from them had more weight rather than just because I don't know. It's just hard to explain. Like it had more weight. It felt more inspiration than hearing it from a friend or a family. Like I'm sorry, that sounds wrong, but it just felt
but
good.
that's understandable. Like I procrastinate as well, and all of that jazz. Like I do come prepared. Like I have my notes and all of that jazz. So I totally know what you're saying when it comes to that and stuff. So off that one right there. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes, I do, because there's like a lot of reasons. There's just like a lot of evidence that they've been around. Like we can't just be the only intelligent life in the universe. I mean, there's it's so funny because like, and this is one of the reason why I like to see Doctor Who, not because of the aliens, but because of what's out there. They're like, and I guess 11 said it better. 11th Doctor, I mean, when he said it that like we're in a world that's probably in one corner of somebody's universe, and that universe is probably in somebody else's corner, and so forth and so forth. Like there's so much out there. There's like so much.
We can't be the only ones.
We can't be the only ones.
There's absolutely no way.
And it's such. There's like so much out there to explore, not just here, but out there in space. Like
there has to be. But
it has. But I'm probably gonna sound very Star Trekky, but like it's better to. I don't know why, as a species, as a human race, we want to explore and conquer when we can. Why don't we just explore? But
exactly.
But it's just like. It's just a weird thing. It's like a weird meta thing, but it's just like, and I think I put this on my Instagram stories last night about how like when you look up at the stars and you see them flicker and you wonder what's behind them, and then you wonder what's behind the stars and so forth. I'm paraphrasing that, but like it's just the wonderment of it all. I mean that's
exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's. Did you know? That supposedly, I don't know how to do more research, but that the Time Machine was like the first time that the book, the Time Machine from H.G. Wells was like the first time that time travel was ever mentioned in literature or in science fiction or anything. It's like the wonderment of finding what's next or what comes after us or what was before us. Like this is like knowing, understanding, or exploring. It's just like so wonderful, and that's why I love going to the conventions, not just to meet celebs, but just like the journey and then looking at the scenery and what's changed out there, like a rundown gas station, or like a bowling alley, or even like a laundromat, or like old hotels.
Yeah. I always have this thing, like, I always wonder, and it's a fascination with me, like, example, like, Germany, the Hitler people, like, the army, they had, like, their suits, their boots, all of the propaganda of the flags, the signs and stuff, like, there was millions, hundreds of thousands of them, like, their uniforms. What happened to that? Yes, things get destroyed and everything, but when you see the crowd, Germany, you know what I'm saying? Like the propaganda, all that. 100 years from now, all of the voting Biden, fucking Donald Trump, the signs and everything, are those gonna be around 100 years from now? They're gonna be collectibles. Does that make sense? Like just a sign, like a ragged sign, like a magazine or whatever, or a uniform from an officer in 2024. 100 years from now, that uniform is going to be a collectible item. A cop uniform. Just the way the cop cars evolved to, like now they have cruisers and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the 60s and 70s cop cars back then, but like, what happened to those? What happened to their uniforms? And I don't know if I'm making sense. I always wonder where the remnants of
I'm pretty sure those things are still in junkyards or because like people are gonna recreate them or restore them.
But just in general, like even now we're talking right now, 2024. 100 years from now, this microphone is gonna be like Nintendo.
Yeah.
What Nintendo is, or you know what I'm saying, Atari. This
Yeah.
is gonna be Atari. Our cell phone's gonna be Atari.
Well, look what happened
50
to
years
CDs.
from now, you know what I'm
that's another
saying?
thing. It's like, like there was the vinyl record, and then there was the 8-track, the CD,
Yeah.
the
Or
cassette,
like,
and then
the-
we're back, and now
like-
we're back to records. Some
Yeah,
people are like, it's
but
like, what?
the collectible of it, like just like the nostalgia, like the collectible, like there has to be something that preserves all of this stuff, like collecting all
There's
cell
gonna be
phones
people
and
that are
stuff
gonna
like that.
preserve it, but like not all of this stuff is gonna be preserved because
I just always wondered, like, where did that happen? Where did it
you
go?
say 100 years from now, what if 100 years from now only one person has it?
Exactly.
And then like nobody.
And it's a man who was a hoarder, and
It's-
then they found it. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like, but it's the one thing about history is that it's always written by the winners, and things get revised or revision. Like things are like things that matter now in 100 years won't matter at all.
But I mean, I think that's sad because our history, like I don't know, I'm very nostalgic. I love like the nostalgia.
Yeah.
To me, the '80s is God. Like I just recently found a Super Nintendo console, and I'm a Zelda fan, and I'm like, I just want to play Zelda from Super Nintendo, even regular Nintendo, but Super Nintendo, and I just recently found it, the console, and I haven't found the actual Zelda game for it. But I have Mortal Kombat and I have Mario Go-Kart. I'll settle for that, but I need me some Zelda. But I have the actual console. And one of my smart TVs was, I guess, too smart, unless I didn't have the right cords for it to connect it to and stuff. I tried 3 TVs, one non-smart TV and then 2 other smart TVs. And then a friend came over this weekend and he was like, okay, nah, it's not gonna work. Then boom, it worked. But I still need my Super Nintendo. I need my Super Nintendo Zelda game. I have the Nintendo, but I need that Zelda game.
Zelda.
I gotta look for it and all of that jazz. So,
It's gonna
anyways, so you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna. Well, it's just like I love nostalgia too, and I know it's gonna be there, and then like reminiscing on things, and that's beautiful. But I guess I'm just looking too much of a big picture, because it's just like. And that's why sometimes like we just have to like stop and smell them.
Think about it. Smell the
roses,
just don't throw it all the way, dude.
Or just be more in the moment, in the present. Like right now, we are here talking, we're conversating. There's no, there's only a camera in front of us that's recording us, but there's no phone. There's no phone. In between us, like we're not.
Oh yeah. I hear you.
It's a conversation, but we just. It's so hard to be in the moment because of the moment never passes. We just get to another moment, and we just have to try to pick up on it.
Yeah, and it's just we're running too fucking fast. I think we're going too fast. You gotta stop and be able to smell the roses per se and stuff. So, okay, so do you believe in ghosts? Have you had a paranormal experience?
I believe in ghosts, but I don't know if I've had an experience or not. Maybe I did, maybe I don't. I know here in town, like at the LC, used to be LCC, then LBJ. But
now it's called LC, right? So it's Laredo College, not community college.
I know one of the old buildings, there's like a cold spot, and then I just. I know I get chills after seeing a horror movie and stuff, and I know my mind plays tricks. I don't know, quoting Iron Maiden there. But,
nice.
But it's just, there's like an eerie feeling. Like part of my delivery route, I'll pass by the old Mercy Hospital, and
when you say delivery, please elaborate, because if you say delivery, I think you're a drug dealer.
Oh,
no.
No, I did.
I'm just joking about it, but you know what I'm
parts.
saying. Yeah, he delivers auto parts. Auto loads. No.
But I'll pass by the old Mercy Hospital, and I'll wonder what's in there, because I know sometime last year in June or July, a man and a woman broke in and they fell off the roof. What drove were they high?
Did?
Yeah, were they high on something or did something?
I don't watch the news, so I don't know this. I mean, I really don't watch the news no more.
I found this on Facebook. It was reported on Facebook, but it's just And then one of my friends who have their podcast, Fears and Beers, shout out to Fears and Beers. They have they're always, well, we recorded with them, me and Tim. We did like a crossover with them in the show.
Okay.
And the house that we did the crossover, like the owner of the house, was saying that his daughter like saw something there because like the house has very strong energies, and they had the EMPs.
Yeah,
but I never.
Yeah,
but I never. I didn't get to check them out because we were too drunk.
Have you ever had a reoccurring dream at night or a nightmare at all? Like reoccurring that like happens just.
I think it was more like an astral body projection because there's times where it's like where I'm falling in the dream, and then all of a sudden I'll wake up like if I fell down.
But that's your typical, like if you go to sleep, like I remember one time I was, I think in school or college, whatever, and I laid my head down and I guess I snoozed and I felt like I was falling and like I woke up like fuck, like, but it was that twitch that I had to get because it was like I was falling or something like that. But
I don't know. I mean, like I know I had dreams for like I've done things like killed a person, and I know I woke up the next day and I felt so much.
You turned yourself into the gun. You called. You're like this. God knows I'm guilty. Take me now. You're like I didn't mean to do it. Damn it, God.
You're thinking of the bartender. No, but like I felt the tremendous amount.
Like a loader.
I used to love her, but I had to kill her.
I had to kill her, and now
I just felt that enormous amount of guilt that you have when you. Well, that someone with morals would feel when they take a life. I mean, like I know people that. I know there are crazy people out there, or like people unstable that don't feel anything when they do that.
Well, it's kind of like when I don't know about you, but I dreamt about like I don't go to sleep thinking about the person, but I've dreamt about like somebody like we have not so much sex, but just like a make out session, whatever. And I wake up and I have a crush on that person for the next 24 hours. I'm like, ooh. And I'm thinking about them because I dreamt about them, not willingly, but subconsciously, I guess. And I'm like, oh no, ow. But then I shake it off after this. I'm like,
shake it off.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
And stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, but anyways, if you could interview anybody, who would you interview? Anybody for your podcast, who would you interview?
Oh. That's a good one. Who would I interview? So many people, so little time. Wow.
That's from The Exorcist, right? 3. He's like friends, old friends. You reminded me of The Exorcist 3.
Yeah, Gemini Kid.
Yes.
But
if you could interview anybody on your podcast, who would you interview?
I don't know. I mean, I can't. It's like it's not even a long list. It's just anyone that wants to be on there. Well,
anybody
not
anybody. Famous wise. Even famous wise.
Oh boy, when we get done here, I gotta tell you something. But famous wise. Oh wow. I guess. Oh yeah, I locked it. Sorry.
We do apologize. Interception, we're going to go to commercial now. Thank you very much for calling Comcast. This is Linda. How can I help you today?
Yeah.
Yes, so sweet. Please, thank you. Yes. We love it. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but like it's
you want to chug your tea. Sir, chug your tea. Please. Exactly, yes.
What the fuck?
Silliness is an effect, I hope?
No, it's not. I'm still learning.
Right, okay, what were we saying?
Interview.
Who would you interview if you could interview anybody?
I get.
Anybody.
I know. I'm just
thinking.
There's
so many. While you're thinking, I just realized I'm like using a pencil that used to be. Remember back in the days? I feel like I need to be writing like this, like This is one of those fat pencils that are from when you were in second grade, at least in the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a fat pencil. This is a
said.
depressing house.
Yeah.
Oh, touche. So, but this is a nice pen. I like it. Pencil. Okay, if you can't think about that,
no, so I'm just gonna.
you can't think about it. Scratch.
It's a scratch. It's like there's like I just feel like there's like so many. It's not a long list. It's not a short list. There's like so many people that like I would like to talk to, but there's no one that's on top of the list. But I could give you like some people. No, I'm gonna keep going.
Say it now, damn it.
Well, I'm thinking of the doctors. I'm thinking of of Capaldi, Peter Capaldi, David Tennant, Matt Smith.
Pick one.
I would love to interview Sylvester McCoy because he likes to roll his R's when he talks.
Who is Sylvester McCoy?
He's the seventh Doctor. Oh, Paul McGowan, the eighth Doctor, or Chris Eccleston. Okay, now you got me back about Doctor.
Alrighty, rock and roll. Jason or Michael Myers?
Michael. Michael because he's a silent type. No, they're both silent types. I think there's just something about Michael Myers
that makes you sweat.
No, that is like the epitome. There's just I guess that way Loomis described him as evil. The blackness, the emptiness. Like that's why I like Michael more. It's like so empty.
Grazie.
Thank you.
David. Best bartender in the house.
Yeah.
No guitar lessons. Thank you very much, Pops.
Global bartender. Michael Myers. Yeah, he's just like. I mean, Jason is cool, but like Jason has morals and emotions, and he could. He's like a living. Well, he was a zombie. He's a zombie, basically, like a living zombie coming back and forth. But Michael is still a human, and
he still has feelings.
He's so emotional. If you were a fan,
no, you're a joker. Are we supposed to be in on this joke?
Not really. But no, Michael is just so devoid of anything. Like he just kind of like the juggernaut, just keeps going. Nothing stops him. He's just like he goes. And while Jason,
nicely put by the way.
Jason just both Jason and Michael haven't stopped, but I guess the fact that Michael still does the things that he does because he's still, not a zombie like Michael. I'll just say that he's not a Walking Dead zombie. He's just still a person.
Understood.
That keeps going.
Understood. Tilted Kilt or Ojos Locos?
Oh, neither because I don't want to get shot.
You don't want to get shot?
No, like some person in San Antonio, 2 people got shot at Ojos Locos, and then there was like a fight the next week. Here in town, I think some person got shot, and there was like 3 fights. I don't know. That's what I heard. And Tilted Kilt, it's just
Ojos Locos, but classier.
Not really, not even the Hooters here. No,
oh, Hooters.
No,
I'm stuck on Hooters. Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I'll just stick to.
Jerking off.
That too. I'll just stick to.
Yeah.
I'll just stick to Tano Logan's.
Understood completely. Prince or Michael Jackson?
I'm gonna go with Prince. I want to say Michael Jackson, but it's so funny because when we were gonna record last week, me, Eddie, and Poncho, and Eddie had mentioned part of a song. I think it was like a Coldplay song. He said the lyrics aren't in the Coldplay, where it's like didn't mean to hurt you, didn't mean to cause you pain, and he was thinking Coldplay because he heard it, and then I'm like. Purple Rain, because that's in there. Like didn't mean to hurt you, didn't mean to cause you pain. I only want to see you dancing, no laughing in the purple rain, purple rain, purple. Like if you and Conan, the former, the retired wrestler Conan, Mexican wrestler Conan, he has said on his podcast millions of times that the Purple Rain album, the soundtrack, it is the best.
Dude, every song on that album rocks the world. From Darling Nikki, dude, every song rocks.
When he said that, and I've been hearing their podcast for a while now, so I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna hear this now and see, and I'm just like, damn, this guy's right.
Dude, every song.
Totally, so like, and
understood.
Like nothing against Michael. I mean, like he's got so many hits after hits, like so much memorable stuff, but. I don't know. Prince is.
Dude, Prince.
And his actual name is Prince. That's the weird thing. His parents named him Prince, and he is Prince.
Dude, I mean, the Purple Rain, the movie and the album, every song back in the day when that came out, I was living in Mexico. I would hear that album. Darling Nikki is one of my favorite songs of all time.
And he discovered Vanity and Carmen Electra.
Yes,
And he wrote songs.
Vanity 6, actually.
Yeah, Vanity 6, yeah. And he wrote songs, like
for the Nothing Compares to You.
Yeah, the Sinead O'Connor, the Bangos. I think it was either Manic Monday or Eternal Flame. One of those songs he gave it to them. But yes, like he is. Yeah.
I want to share a story real quick, only because of you mentioning Purple Rain and stuff. My daughter, she's 30 years old now, so that says my age, right? Anyways, she's 30 years old. She was a kid. She grew up. I'm a heavy metal rock and roll chick, so I listen to metal and all that stuff. Her growing up, she listened to metal and all of that jazz. And when one time she really got into Nirvana, she was into Nirvana. She was literally, no lie, 7 years old. Give or take. And I remember I was gonna get her ready for school, and we were in the room and stuff. So she was getting ready, and the song I put on the radio, and Purple Rain came out. But she was really into Nirvana, like big time, like especially the acoustic album, the Nirvana Unplugged.
Yeah.
She liked all of the songs and whatever. She would go to sleep to it. I would put it very low, and then she would go to sleep. But she was on the bed, and I'm brushing my hair, and it's Purple Rain, Purple Rain. And she's on the bed. I kept saying, she goes, Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain. Dude, literally, and I'm like, huh? Kurt Cobain. I'm like, Mama, what are you saying? Kurt Cobain. I'm like, Mama, it's Purple Rain. The song Prince was on, and she was saying Kurt Cobain instead of Purple Rain. And I thought that was the cutest thing on earth. And I was like, I need that. She was so into freaking Nirvana, dude, and stuff. And I was just fun story, blah, blah, blah. And so I just thought it was really, really cute that she was saying Kurt Cobain instead of Purple Rain. And just,
But it's cute.
It was cute.
It's like,
she was really into that.
That's the wonders, not just wonders of childhood, but like, like you could.
They're memories. It's just
not
memories.
But like,
and she's 30 years old now.
The fact that, that you could take a song and a rhythm of a song and make it your own.
Exactly.
It's just like talk to lyrics that just like sound the same or not.
Exactly.
It's
understood
beautiful.
Completely. Okay, so I know I said that Ojos Locos or
Totokiot, but
okay, but I'm gonna say Exoticas or Babes.
Oh my god! I guess I'm gonna go to Exoticas because I've never been to Babes. I only been to Exoticas one time.
But old Exoticas or the one over here on Mines?
The one on Mines, and that's because I went because said friend convinced me to go with our group of friends, our group of the guys' friends of the group, because it was one of their birthdays. But I didn't feel it. I don't know. I'm just not a strip club person.
It was too much of a teaser for you.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get the good stuff.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, it just I'm just not a strip club person. I guess I'm just more of a online person alone kind of thing. But it's just I just don't get it. And then they were you know, and then like they're like, cause like I think like at 12 or like at at a certain time, they come out and play Monte Cruz Girls, and now the girls come out and start like doing dances to everybody there. And you have to tip them. And
You don't have to, but I mean,
no, but
obviously,
like and then I'll call him M. He was in the group. He was like, dude, I'll pay you a lap dance. They're going to be coming out girls. If you do not get a lap dance, but they're playing girls. What is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't. It's just like
I just squirted on myself right now. By the way, I came on myself.
Hello. But I'm a pervert as much as the next person.
I love me some women. I love women. Women are fucking sexy. They're sexy.
Yes, they are. But I'm just like, my heart wasn't in it. I just like like.
But your heart on was. Your heart, but your heart on was.
It was just like I don't know. Like I hear. But no, I'm not a. Let's go with Exoticas.
That's enough out of you! Damn it! Okay, so Marilyn Manson or Charlie Manson?
Charlie Manson, because Marilyn Manson's a foodie. He's just like, I know he means so much to a lot of people, especially my sister, but he's just, I want to say like a one-trick pony. I'm gonna go there. I mean, like he had his moment in the sun, and then he just, he flew too close to the sun. I'll just say it like that. I mean, like I know a lot of people grew up with him and stuff. A lot of people love him.
Yes.
And there's so many, but I was just like never into it. My sister was all like, "Oh, this is like the darkest thing ever," and I'm just like, no. So it's because of her that I went digging more darker into stuff and posting. And then what I found, I went from Manson, I found Cradle of Filth. From Cradle of Filth, I found Cold Chamber. From Cold Chamber, and then just kept going down the rabbit hole. Mayhem, Merciful Fate, Fear
You're
Factor,
saying that now.
Things, more heavy and like twisted, and all these things, and I'm just like. Nice. And you think this guy's dark? I mean, like
exactly.
This guy shot his they killed his band member. Like,
yeah, but maybe.
I mean, like,
yeah.
And it's just like again, like, God, Scandinavian metal, and of course, who can't forget Slayer?
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh my God, like how could anybody say like Manson's more darker than Slayer? Like, fuck that.
No, honey, you gonna get it.
Or even Megadeth, like again, like.
Hey, don't be dissing.
No, I'm not dissing
this thing now.
No. I'm saying they're better than they're better than Manson. It's just.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to say that it was just the flavor of the month. And
understood.
To some people, it's still they can roll with it. That's their thing. Go for it. I'm sorry, I'm shitting on it, but
don't worry about it. It's all good.
I'm not. Like I try not to go too much mainstream. I try to go against the grain and find my own way.
Understood.
Although sometimes I do once in a while go with the grain, but that always depends. That usually depends if there's a girl involved.
I like what you're doing here. Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee, because Jackie Chan looks like he's doing it more for the money. I think, and also Bruce Lee had more quotes, especially that quote. No, but like there's just one quote I heard, and this is so funny because I heard this from when I was looking yesterday at a Transformer review action figure. They were talking about a Transformer, and they were talking about how like they compared the Transformers' path of violence, like his path to non-violence to a Bruce Lee quote versus if someone's challenging you, walk away. If they're yelling at you to come back, walk away. If they're chasing you, run. If they catch up to you and poke you, then you must destroy them. I'm paraphrasing, but it's just like always, don't
Silence is the best.
Yeah, silence is the best thing, but like it's just like like if they push it to the point where you've done so much to just not do it, to be the bigger person and keep going,
mm-hmm.
then you have to do something.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so I gotta go with Bruce Lee.
Nice. With that being said, plug in what you have to do, and let's thank this giant pencil here from second grade back in 1984. This pencil is our sponsor right here. He's our sponsor.
That was on the Rocky Tavern at 1110 Lincoln Street.
Yes, and for the Blitz as well. And you're going to sponsor this as well with your podcast. Is that correct, Dom?
Yes.
Chipetta, and that's Troglodyte.
Troglodyte.
So
you could find me you could find my voice and my co-host Tim's voice at Troglodyte Harbor and Cult Film Review podcast. Oh, and there you got to tell you why I came up with the name. Do you want to hear that story?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, pause before we end. So yes, I came up with the name Troglodyte because I was reading a book. There's this book out there that I read called We Sold Our Souls. The book is written the book is written by Grady Hendrix, and this was a guy who knew nothing of metal or music or rock, but he did so much research that wow. But in the book he mentions it's about a band called Dirt. I think that's the name, Dirt, and they use like the Motley Crue thing.
The Dirt.
They spelled it D, and then the U with the two dots, and then R and T, Dirt.
Yeah.
And they were gonna be big, but their lead singer basically sells the band members' souls to these kind of demons for fame and fortune. And the band members didn't know why they lost all creativity all of a sudden. Like the bassist went on to have a family. The drummer, I think, was in an accident, and I think the other guitar player went kind of cuckoo, and the lead singer became fame. Like, he had the fame and fortune. He was the Black King or something. And then the lead guitar, Christina, she kind of tracked down she wanted to find out like what happened to her. Like she was in her 40s working at a Motel 6 and just like life bad, and she just finds out what happens to them. Like they had 2 albums. The third album, which was going to be called Troglodyte, was going to be like their massive hit, but because their lead singer sold their souls, the album never got to be released, and it's just throughout the whole thing, the Troglodyte keeps coming back over, and then the Black Iron Mountain. It's like all these mythologies, like it's like the world building and the myths, and then like all the metal references that were in there, from Slayer to Megadeth to Merciful Fate to
Amorphous?
No, not Amorphous is mentioned. But
Dimot Burger?
Yeah, I think that's.
I can't remember. Dimot Burger?
I think that's it. But yes, it's just like so. Oh my God! And then the beginning of the book, the way it begins.
I love your excitement. Like, oh God! Like,
it is because I went through that. Anybody that has ever played guitar or any string instrument, they know that struggle when you're right there listening to the beat and going back and forth and messing up and going at it and then messing up and then going and then getting it right, and then right when you think you get it, you mess up. Like the way the prologue describes it, I felt it because when I played guitar the first time around in my life, when I had a guitar, when I was learning to play that. Oh my God! I guess it's such a beautiful memory. It's like I really felt it. I mean, just that strumming, that trying to get it right, the fingers burning, the fingertips, the blisters,
the calluses. Yes.
It was just as soon as I read that, I was hooked, and it's just like I knew when I got to when I got to like 3/4 of the book, I just knew that Troglodyte had to be the name of my podcast. It's just because I was thinking of a name, what to call it, like horror this, horror that, and then, or something fancy, and then they're like, no, it's gotta be Troglodyte, and I stuck with it, I did I made sure that it wasn't tied to anything, and there was
or too common, because that name, I mean that word alone, I cannot. Troglodyte.
Yeah,
Troglodyte.
You said it right the first time, but it's just
go easy on you.
Maybe I won't later, but I just like it cost, and I know I think sometime last year in the summer, I know a couple of my friends were kind of like egging me, like, why'd you pick Troglodyte and blah blah blah, telling me this, that, everything, kind of putting me down. But I'm like, no, like this is the name of the show. This is it. I chose this for a reason. It's not like, yes, there's a band in Tennessee or Kentucky called Troglodyte, but like a thrash metal band.
I didn't know that.
And I know that there was a podcast with Troglodyte, but like it's solely something about coffee or something. But there's nothing attached to it with like a horror podcast or anything. So it's just.
And now that you're extending it to other realms and stuff like that.
I don't know. Like maybe it could be a Troglodyte network or something. Like who knows? But it's just that name. It just like that. Reading that book meant so much to me, and finding that name meant a lot to me. And I know that when I met I had Nina Diaz from Girl in the Coma, when I had her on my podcast, and I was gonna go see her perform in San Antonio at the 502. I wanted to take her a book, and that was the book I wanted to take her because I just wanted to share that book with her.
Yeah.
And
because it's heartfelt.
And I didn't want to give her husband at the time. I don't know if they're still married now. I don't know what I don't know. But I gave her husband his first Stephen King book because he's never had a Stephen King book. So it's just like, it wasn't just thinking of her, it was thinking of him.
Exactly. Again, heartfelt. It's heartfelt.
And I just that's just, again, like that's where the name came from. It came from that book, because that just the story of the book, especially there's one part in the book where she's cornered and she's cornered and she knows she's gonna die, and the manager of Teddy is kind of mocking her and telling her this, that, and then just like the way the narration of the book just builds up her frustration and things, that it's just when she punches him, it tells you why she punched. She didn't only punch him because he gave her a smirk. She punched him because for all the times that people told her that a girl can't play lead guitar, a girl can't do this, and you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's like she put all that frustration in that one punch to knock that manager out. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that you go. I recommend that book.
Yeah.
We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. By Grady Hendrix.
Yeah,
it's
and there's nothing
book.
like having like reading a physical book. I mean, nowadays, let's face it, we're all on our own devices. We're to our own device. Like, dude, I personally I like to have a book in my shitter. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like besides your phone, when I'm having that bow moment, whatever. There's nothing like a magazine or like just a book and stuff, and then I keep a little paper in between the cookies, go back to it. But there's nothing like books. I mean, dude, I'm surprised we still have libraries nowadays. But nowadays it's digital libraries now.
Yes.
And stuff.
And
there's nothing like old school reading.
I want physical books, but it's like I live at home, so there's no space for them, so I'm stuck with digital for the meantime, until I can find a space to buy physical books again. But I love it. I just love reading, dude. I love, especially going.
Excuse me.
There's this book out there called by Lewis Sinclair, I think, called "It Can't Happen Here," where it's basically talking about America become. This book was written in the 40s, and it's talking about America becoming a dictatorship. And throughout the whole, before that happened, it's a whole book of saying, "Oh, that's not going to happen here. This is America." And then, lo enough, it behinds, and then look where we are now.
Exactly.
It's so.
I hear you. With that being said,
Yeah.
keep it to a minimum,
Yeah.
motherfucker. I want to thank Loki,
Yes.
Jesse Loki, and Troglodyte.
Troglodyte, however, Troglodyte cult film. Sorry, now you got me saying it. I need to be drinks.
Yeah. Do it,
Careful
do
with
it.
that time.
Joseph.
The Troglodyte Harbor Code from Review Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, anywhere you hear your favorite podcast. We're there. Episodes come out every week. Every week or every other week. It depends. Just depends. Like, we do it for love. We do it for hobby.
Exactly.
We don't really. We try to do it. We try to release an episode every week or every other week, but as much as we love our fans, we don't kill ourselves to put episodes. We don't want to feel like if we're doing a job. We want to do it because we love it. We have fun with it.
Exactly. So don't hate, participate.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Yeah.
Let it be known then.
So thank you, Herlaka, for having me here.
No problem. It was an absolute pleasure. And thanks. I want to thank this pencil. I have to give him a name. He's going to be my friend now. He's from second grade. Remember these pencils? But I think they were a little bit fatter, a little bit thicker. Remember you would write that? I don't know. He's my friend now. He's my friend. So I'm gonna keep him right here. Ow. Juice it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching and blah blah blah. Rock and roll.
I gotta pee. Oh no, I gotta go.